So I feel like we've been on Google Gemini 2.5 for a while now, and I guess Google feels the same because they've started rolling out Gemini 3.0. It was fun because I had prepped the sheet with an article that said they might start rolling out Gemini 3.0, and then I saw another article that came out earlier today saying they have begun doing it. So This is very new news. I'm going to jump a little bit back in time before we talk about Gemini 3, because before they'd started doing that, earlier this month, they unleashed the Gemini 2.5 computer use model. Have you seen this, Perry?
I have not.
It's basically, they're trying to make Google Gemini more multimodal. And everyone's trying to make their models more multimodal as we move forward. And I don't know, I guess computer use, a multimodal, I always think inputs, right? I think text, images, and videos, but I guess another mode is computer use.
Well, and that gets to the whole agentic model, right? Is they're wanting AI to be able to run things on our behalf. And so we're seeing bigger and bigger pushes into that. So, there's been several makers trying to move in that direction. We also had this week, OpenAI released their AI-powered browser. And so that will also make decisions on your behalf and do fun things.
Atlas, right? I think they're calling it. Yeah.
Now, the scary thing, though, before you go forward, is that all of these are very, very susceptible to prompt injection. So if you're a bad actor, you can throw something in the context that it will read, whether that's an email, whether that's a document that it is scanned or something else, and then you can do bad things.
Yeah, no, you super can. And I mean, again, this bit is still in its infancy, so there's like loads and loads of rough edges to sort of wedge your digital fingers into and start peeling up the floorboards. Yeah. So I'll just read the beginning of this press release from them. They said, earlier this year, we mentioned that we're bringing computer use capabilities to developers via the Gemini API. Today, which was October 7th, so a while ago, we're releasing the Gemini 2.5 computer use model, our new specialized model built on Gemini 2.5 Pro's visual understanding and reasoning capabilities that powers agents capable of interacting with user interfaces. You phrased that. I said that weird. Capable of interacting with user interfaces. It outperforms leading alternatives on multiple web and mobile control benchmarks, all with lower latency. Developers can access these capabilities via the Gemini API in Google AI Studio and Vertex AI. And so they go on to talk about how you can do a lot with AI. It's structured through scripting, through MCP and things like that. But for it to actually navigate websites and other such things that were designed for a person and don't have the underlying backend designed for a computer, you got to do things like visually analyze the page, decide where to click, make the various actions, fill in the forms. And the idea for this is there's a lot of things you can do, from online shopping to itinerary to trip planning. So they talk about all of this potential. And from what I had heard from people attempting to use it, while it's better than a lot of the leading ones, it's not great yet. We're really not
None
there,
of them are there yet. Yeah, exactly.
That's a bit of a roadblock.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the thing is all these, because they're having to move fast and they're testing in public, everything the first time we see it sucks really, really bad.
Yeah.
It's like the early AI overviews and how bad they sucked, and early AI video with the Will Smith eating spaghetti stuff, that sucked. And then now look at video 2.5 years later. I mean, this stuff is moving crazy fast. And so when we look at that initial thing and see how bad it is, the thing that we can't do is dismiss its future potential.
No,
we just have to look and see how bad it is and say, some forward-leaning people are going to test that. They're going to take some risks. There's going to be some really embarrassing things. And then it's going to start to incrementally get better. And that incremental getting better is going to happen at an accelerated pace.
Something that I think is interesting about this particular facet, too, being computer use, is that it's kind of both forward and backward looking in that websites and other web apps will be designed in future with scaffolding for MCP and for better agentic AI interaction when they are built. And so this is kind of a way to use things that are not built that way with AI systems. So it's kind of interesting because it is like a Band-Aid layer, even in its conception, that we have to improve.
Yeah. And it's stuff like this has been around forever, right? Because of old screen scraping technologies that were used for both accessibility and then also for interactive voice response systems. So like where you'd call up your dentist office or do some kind of ordering, a lot of those old systems were actually navigating web browsers and applications doing things. And they were super vulnerable because if the app maker for the thing that you were doing changed a field by like a few pixels, then the machine, the interactive voice response system wouldn't know where to place a cursor in the right place. Right. Way.
Which is honestly why I'm surprised that the computer use has been lagging so far behind, because we've had the screen scrapers that interact by like grabbing the HTML code to interact. We've had visual processing ones for a while that do like visually identifying elements. It's weird how difficult this is of a task for computers, but
I assume messy HTML is part of the reason why it becomes difficult too, right? Is because if you explode some HTML right now and look at it, even a simple web page is like super, super bloated with stuff.
And honestly, that's a problem with screen readers and accessibility for people who use accessibility devices too. Like a lot of sites don't have good ARIA labels and things like that. I know that's a whole other can of worms. We'll get back to Gemini in a second, but it is all interconnected. It is kind of
all related to usage. Yeah. So all that goes together. And even like automated testing suites where you're wanting to throw up 10 or 100 iterations of an application at the same time, so you can kind of load test it or test different use cases against it. All of that is essentially using the same type of interactive point and click type of
identify
stuff.
This, do that. Yeah. And so like that's been around long before chatbots and LLMs. So I'm surprised at the lag here, but I guess it is an entirely different sort of fundamental framework when you're working with an LLM.
Yeah.
So,
I think they're trying to use the intuitiveness of the large language model too, right? Is because many of the multimodal large language models are pretty good at using some intuitive understanding of what's going on visually. And if you can get away from having to read the code to do something, or if you can combine it with that, even better. But if you can get away from the dependency on exact pixel placement on a screen, or having to parse through the code, and you can use it intuitively like somebody sitting in front of a screen would, then you're naturally going to do a little bit better.
Completely. And and AI's visual capabilities come in clutch there to be like, that's a search box. That's this thing. Yeah.
Quick rabbit trail.
Sure.
I saw somebody do something really funny with OpenAI the other day. Is they took like a clip of a screenshot and it just showed a shoe and like the metal plate of what was initially turned out to exactly be a mic stand that was tilted to the side and, chrome pole going up. And then they said, identify what's going on in this image, and it like described the shoe and the leather and everything else, and said, and I'm seeing this metal disc and this thing. I'm assuming that's a mic stand. And then it goes, based on what I'm seeing here, it's the opening frame from Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
So
it's like this person rickrolled OpenAI.
Yeah, they rickrolled the chatbot. That's actually pretty great. I love that.
But really cool that it could do that.
Yeah, it's very cool that it could do that. Also, a fun little internet factoid that I love related to that, before we pivot back to talk about Gemini 3, is that Rick Astley specifically has not put any ads on that video so that you can continue to rickroll people without having to like sit through a Tide ad or something. I think that's great. Yeah. So, I mean, the real point of this podcast, I guess, is to say kudos to Rick Astley. Let's to jump back to the story. Last couple minutes here. Google Gemini 3 is being rolled out. This is from ASO World, marketingtrending.asoworld.com. Google has quietly begun rolling out Gemini 3.0 Pro, the latest and most advanced version of its multimodal large language model. The move appears to be a soft launch ahead of a wider public release, giving select users early access through Google's AI platforms and productivity tools. Yada, yada, yada. So what's new in Gemini 3? According to early reports, Gemini 3 significantly improves its ability to handle text, images, and potentially audio, enabling more fluid, context-aware interactions. Some testers have received notifications saying they've been upgraded to 3.0 Pro, confirming that limited access is already underway. The model is expected to link tightly with Google's ecosystem, supporting deeper connections to products like Workspace, Chrome, Android, and AI Studio. And Google has been building new things into their AI Studio. I haven't been here in a grip, and so I was pretty surprised when I loaded it back up. They seem to be having a big focus on vibe coding and app development through Gemini, because like you jump into the Google AI Studio and you have two actionable options. You have chat and you have build. Other than that, you have dashboard to monitor usage and then documentation to learn stuff. So pretty much you can chat and you can build apps. And I haven't spent any time in the builder yet. But last time I looked at their AI studio, it did not have anywhere near this amount of stuff. And I currently do not have access to Gemini 3, not yet, but hopefully we'll soon. And it's interesting. I think Google, of all the companies, is going to be the one to sort of win the long game of the
they're in
AI
a position
races.
to. I mean, they embarrassed themselves pretty bad a couple of years ago by putting stuff out in front of people. But when you really look at it, I mean, they're the folks that were behind, or the acquisition that they made of DeepMind or DeepBrain at the time, is like, that's the innovation of understanding context. It was the attention. Yeah. It was the whole attention mechanism, and attention is all you need paper back from 2017 that gave birth to the transformer model. They got us to where we are now. And so the fact that that came out of Google, the fact that Google basically has all the data, let's just leave it there.
Yeah. I mean, they have the data, they have the infrastructure, they have the ecosystem, they have the legacy, they have the
user
talent.
base. They have, I mean, it's crazy. So when you look at like everything from talent to data to infrastructure to global presence to, all the things, they're in a position to be the number one. And if not the number one, like the close number two, with a lot of differentiated value that still only they can bring.
And I feel like they, at this point, are like I don't think dependable is the right word to use, but I kind of feel like they're the dependable tractor of the like tech titans. Like Google's always going to be there.
They'll be around. Yeah. They'll be around. I mean, they're going to have to pivot, like figuring out how to monetize, obviously, but they will be there. And
to wrap us up, because I see our timer has ticked us out just about, they have not disclosed core technical details yet about Gemini 3, such as model size, context window, benchmark results, or pricing. It remains unclear whether it will be accessible to general users or limited to enterprise clients. Analysts expect a full public announcement in the coming weeks, possibly coinciding with updates to Google's hardware or software ecosystem. I think this article may be an AI summary article, pulling from different sources, because this writing is a bit shoddy, but... that's sort of the scoop. Gemini 3 is on the horizon. If you have it, I want to hear about it. Email hello@eighthlayermedia.com. And I'm going to spend some time playing in the AI studio with these new features, because apparently you can add, and I guess I'll throw this up on the screen real quick. You can add like supercharge your apps with AI, and they say things like add Nano Banana powered photo editing to your app. Add Google Maps to your app. I was not aware that, I wasn't aware they let you tie in different Google services to deployed apps like that.
Let's make those things sticky.
And there's a whole sharing ecosystem here too. Like you can build and share things in the studio. So expect a report on that next week. I'm going to play around a little bit.
Google 3 is here for thee.
Yes, indeed. And we've got something coming up for you next. What is next, Perry?
AI messing things up. AI messes crap up.
AI messes stuff up. More at 11.
Yeah, exactly.